Hello everyone and welcome to another episode on the Saab project. In today's episode we have one clear goal: fixing my butchered front fender. These 900 fenders look like they are pretty hard to remove, so we are going to have our work cut out for us.
All my friends, hello rider.
Hey guys, so in today's episode we are going to continue with the metal work on my Saab 900, and more specifically we are going to take a look at the front passenger fender. As you all know, somebody has butchered the rust repairs on that in the past, and I think the easiest way to fix that will be by changing the fender in its entirety. I have already taken a look at the parts car that is sitting in my driveway, and unfortunately that fender is also bad. So I had to look online, and luckily one of my Patreons got me into contact with somebody who is parting out a Saab 900, and in a few days I will be able to take the fender off that car so that we can put it on mine. But unfortunately these fenders are pretty hard to remove as they are completely welded to the body. So what I am going to start with is taking my fender off, so that I'm sure that I know how to do it once I go to the parts car. Okay, so apparently these fenders are pretty hard to remove. That is because they are welded in and not bolted in. So I've already started looking for all the spot welds and the stitch welds that we will need to remove, and I've marked them with my paint pen. Luckily, some blind person has been welding here, and that means that the spot welds in the wheel arch area are probably already gone. So that will save me a little bit of work. But yeah, there's going to be a bunch of spot welds that we are going to need to drill out. And actually I've been looking online for a tutorial on how to do this, and it doesn't seem like there is a lot of information about it available, so we're going to have to go by gut feeling here. So yeah, let's have a go. I bought myself a few of these handy drills that are specially made for drilling out spot welds. And what is important when purchasing these is to make sure that the diameter of the drill is larger than the spot weld you are trying to take out. Next, I think we need to unbolt the door. So for some reason my camera died while I was taking the door out, but yeah, it is removed. And now we are up to our final spot welds right in this area. I drew a line here and all of this horrible mess we're just going to cut away. And with that done, I think it is a good time to also strip away the undercoating in here so that we can prepare it for a new undercoating. I don't think I'm going to go fully bare metal like I did on the other ones. I just don't think it is necessary and it will save me a lot of time. I probably will also take off the spring and the shock because those will be in my way. One shock removed. Oh, finally. Okay guys, so we are moving along nicely, but we're not done yet. I just thought it would be a good idea to fill you in on what I'm going to do here. So I've decided that I'm not going to go to bare metal because this coating still looks in pretty good shape. I did notice that first there is a layer of what I think is dinitrol. Then there is this green paint, which I think was the original finish by Saab. And then we have another part of black coating, which is something like dinitrol, some epoxy primer I think, and then we have bare metal. So I noticed when taking all of this off that there is very little surface rust inside of this wheel well. So taking it to bare metal seems like overkill. So what I am going to do, and what I have actually already been doing, is taking away the first layer of dinitrol with my grinder reel, and then the last remnants I am dissolving using some benzene. And once we have this nice green layer left, I'm going to put a primer over it and then some anti-gravel stuff, just like we did in the other wheel arch. And like that, we are going to save us a bunch of time while having the same amount of protection. But now we are going to take a look at how we are going to deal with this situation. And actually, yesterday I went ahead and purchased a new fender. So yesterday I cut this out of a Saab that was being parted out, and as you can see the wheel arch is in very good condition, so that is going to make our lives 10 times easier than if we would be using that one. So it isn't exactly the same as that one because this is from a newer model, but the metal shape is exactly the same. The only differences are that there is a bracket here for the newer style bumper, and over here we have an indicator that that one doesn't have. So yeah, I think I'm going to take this to bare metal, and the first thing that we need to do in order to do that is to disassemble it. The nice thing about this fender is that the inner wing is still attached, and that means that it will be much easier to get a clean result, because I will no longer have to drill out all of the spot welds to attach it to the car. So instead what I am going to do is make a cut somewhere in this region, and then we are going to weld everything back onto the old inner fender that is on the car. I will need to do some small fixes, and I think I'm also going to take this to bare metal, so let's get to it. It was a bit of work, but the fender is now completely stripped of all the paint. And now the next thing I need to do is to fix up this little rust damage. And once that is done, it is pretty much ready to go back onto the car. So this is my little repair, and I am pretty stoked about that. It took me a while to do, but yeah, this is going to look pretty good after a little bit of body filler. And then over here I also covered up the hole for the indicator. That will also need a little bit of body filler to be blended in completely. But I must say that I made a bit of a rookie mistake by going too fast here. So I introduced a bit too much heat, and now there is a very slight indentation in the panel. So yeah, that will have to be taken care of once we go to the painting phase. For the next phase, I think I'm going to cover the entire inside of the panel in rust converter and then some edge primer. And the outside I am going to cover with epoxy. Next we're going to be working on getting this fender to fit onto the car, and I've already test fitted it and determined roughly that this part of the inner fender can be cut off, so that's what we're going to do first. The fender is pretty much ready to go on, and I've already test fitted it a couple of times and it seems like it is going to work out well. The only thing that I still need to do before we're going to mount it is to weld this little plate that was completely rotten away. So I've already remade it, but yeah, as you can see, it is going to take some massaging to make it fit properly. That is not too shabby if you ask me. I definitely feel like my welding skills are improving quite a lot with this project, and that is awesome. So yeah, now the next step is going to be to clean this up with the flappy disc and then paint all of this. And then next we should be ready for the fender to go on. That is clean enough for me as it won't be too visible. So now let's see if this junk fits on that junk. The fender is lining up beautifully. I've already closed the hood and all the gaps are as they should be. So yeah, I think tonight we can go ahead and start welding this in. And Elias is coming over, so I will have an extra pair of hands to help me tackle this job. So with the fender permanently on, I masked off all the suspension and brake bits that I don't want to paint. And then next what I am going to do is put a primer over this undercoating that is already here, and then the anti-gravel spray on top of that. We're not going to be using epoxy this time, not like the other fender wheel arch area that we did, because yeah, I feel like it is a bit of a waste. Epoxy primer is pretty expensive. And it works at its best when it is on naked metal, and here we are going to leave the undercoating. So I'm just going to use a generic primer on it so that the anti-gravel spray can adhere to it properly. After 2 coats, that looks pretty great, and I also added some seam sealer in the areas that needed it. So now we are ready for the anti-gravel spray. And last but not least, a coat of pine green. We are approaching the end of this little project. Now I just need to put in the suspension again. Obviously at some point we are going to redo the entire brake system and the suspension as well, but for now I'm just going to mount it like this, because I need the car to be sitting on its wheels again so that I can move it around, and it will also be much easier to mount the door again. Some parts I already threw in the sandblaster and gave them a coat of paint just to make them look a little bit nicer. But yeah, obviously this is just the tip of the iceberg. that is fitting beautifully. I am very pleased with the end result. At least now we have a beautiful round wheel arch. The body lines are also pretty good, apart from the one here on the hood, but that is because the hood is badly adjusted. But yeah, the work is pretty tedious and I can't wait for it to be over. But slowly and surely I think we are getting there. That is the most important. We only have 2 wheel arches left, and I think that the work that we need to do for both of those combined is much less than the work we already did. So that is something to look forward to. And something else to look forward to is what we are going to do in the next episode, and it is the install of a new stainless exhaust system on my Golf. If you remember, my exhaust system broke on the Nürburgring and it is still broken because I haven't had the time to fix it. But luckily the nice people over at Jetex supplied me with this half stainless system, which is exactly what I need. That is pretty much going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to my channel. And I hope to see all of you in the next one.